Hey, what's up, everybody? So I'm back again with another video, and I actually wanted to revisit Azriel Clary and her status as a witness in the actual trials, right? So when I actually made the video sometime back and I was looking at Azriel's YouTube page, I think I threw it out there that she was possibly a witness in one of the cases. And I think I got blowback by a lot of people. Oh, she's not a witness and not foolish enough to put her in the case. If they put her in the case is going to fail, so on and so forth. Well, guess what? Regardless of what you guys think, she's actually a witness in the trial. Now, I just want to point out the purpose of this video is not to basically bash Azriel Clary. The purpose of this video is not to attack Azriel Clary. I'm making this video because I have freedom of speech and I basically have a right to talk about things that are of public interest. In this case, is obviously an interest to the public. So that's the reason I'm making this video, for education purposes and legal discussion. That's why I'm making this video. So, all right, now that that's out of the way, for the people who thought that she wasn't a witness, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. And I'm just going to say that, well, I'm going to admit that I wasn't some type of genius who basically figured it out. It was just a guess. Because again, when I saw her page, I actually started listening to some of the type of things that she was saying. And I started looking at some of the type of things that she was doing. And none of it felt right. It simply just didn't feel right. And it still doesn't feel right, you know? And to me, it seems like when you listen to her, you're you'll start to hear that she's using certain terminology, and to me, I just call it trigger words, right? She's using a lot of trigger words, what I will call a trigger word, right? I don't know what anyone else would think, but this is my opinion. They're trigger words. Like when you get on public media or social media and you talk about such and such abused me, or they made me do this, so on and so forth, and I'm taking therapy. To me, those are trigger words. That's the best terminology that I could use to describe it right now. But basically, they're words that's going to make the interested person's antenna go up and focus in and pay more attention to what it is she's saying. And I think that some of her social media posts could possibly be used as evidence, both for the defense and for the prosecutors, right? So I have no idea how it's going to be used, but I think there's a possibility that it could be used. Of course, I am not a lawyer, so I have no way of knowing one way or the other. I can't even make a really good educated guess. It just feels like this social media page has a purpose other than to basically promote her brand, and other than to basically for her to basically talk about what's going on in her life, right? So none of this feels right. But anyway, I actually found this information, or let me show you where I found this information. So I found this information on the court listener, right? And basically you can just go and type in the R. Kelly criteria information. Well, you can go in and you can type in R. Kelly case information as the criteria for searching that website, the court listener. And as you can see, just about everything that's been found in the R. Kelly case has essentially or is available on this site. So that's where I got this information. And if you guys don't know how I found out about this site, I was actually told about this site by Michelle Davis. I have a video series where she basically shows me how to use this site. And I was shown this site by Michelle Davis, but the mail, if you will, brought to my attention by an associate of mine. And basically it was this letter sent here on May 8th. I didn't know that you could actually write letters to the judge. I thought that you have to file everything. So it looks to me what they did is that they wrote a letter to the judge and then they filed it. I'm thinking they did that so it wouldn't be considered as kind of like a underhanded play by the defense. I'm not sure what the protocol is for writing the judge, but at any rate, they filed the motion and then they also wrote the judge and then they filed that letter on to the record. So here it is, and this is where I got it from, the court listener. So anyway, just moving right along. Basically, you can see that this letter is from Greenberg and Greenberg and the trial lawyers, and it's written to Ann Donnelly, right, who is the judge in the New York case or the New York federal case against R. Kelly, right? So and again, this video is not basically being made to attack Azriel Clary, is not made to bash her. I'm basically exercising my right to freedom of speech, and basically this is of public interest, so it's public information, so I'm talking about it. So anyway, I'm not going to read the entire letter, but I'm just going to read the pertinent parts. Basically, Greenberg goes on to say, Jane Doe number 5 is Mr. Kelly's former girlfriend, who, contrary to what typically takes place between victims and witnesses and the accused, was allowed unfettered access to Mr. Kelly, and as previously noted in our reply and earlier pleadings, has not made any suggestion that he obstructed. Right now, I believe what he's referring to is that everyone knows that Azriel Clary was visiting R. Kelly in the federal lockup, and she basically visited him for quite some time before it was her turn to basically give up the visitation rights over to Jocelyn Savage. And then basically when R. Kelly refused to basically keep her on the list, at least that's what I heard, I'm not sure if that's what happened. When he refused to keep Azriel Clary as a person that would visit him, of course things went sour, and then all of a sudden she became a victim. I'm assuming. I don't know. Uh, it seems like that's when the relationship went sour. But one could speculate that maybe she was a witness all the time, and she was basically using the visitation time to basically run interference against R. Kelly and maybe act as, and this is my theory. I'm not saying that this is actually what happened and what she was doing, but one theory is that she could have intended to betray R. Kelly all the time, and she was simply going back and forth to visit him in prison and acting as a, what do you call those people? An agent for the government, I guess. An informant for the government, right? Maybe she was acting as an informant for the government. And when she asked to remain on the visitations list, she was really just trying to maintain her position as an informant, right? That's my theory. I'm throwing that theory out there because a lot of people think that she actually, where the relationship went sour when R. Kelly refused to keep her on the visitations list, and she got jealous because it was Jocelyn's turn to start visiting R. Kelly. So that's one of the theories out there. You guys let me know what you think. To me, it seems like both theories could be plausible, right? Let me know what you think. Leave your questions, comments below. Was Azriel Clary always a witness and probably an informant for the government? Or did she decide to flip once R. Kelly refused to make her a permanent visitor and keep Jocelyn from visiting? Let me know what you think. Leave your questions, comments below, because I think initially I thought that was the case, that she basically got upset or they just kind of fell out when R. Kelly wouldn't keep her as the main visitor. And, so that's always been my theory. Let me know what you think. Questions, comments below. So anyway, just moving right along. Uh, where did I leave off? Right? But to the point, for this additional filing, it would be impossible for Mr. Kelly to engage in any obstructive behavior regarding this individual. She has since leaving Mr. Kelly created an active for-profit social media presence requesting individuals to subscribe to her Instagram and YouTube channels, where she regularly speaks of how awful he was. Right? And then it goes on to say, yesterday on the channel she titled, and that's basically blacked out, found that YouTube at the approximately 42-minute mark, she takes a Versace winter coat that she stole from Mr. Kelly and cut it up, showing herself in the feathering filling. Excerpts here. It, I'm sorry. Excerpt here. It is clear from the audio that this was a premeditated stunt to gain viewers, with her mother in the background, and commenting that they had discussed using a knife and how that would have been much easier than using scissors. The rest of the video, as well as the others, has this Jane Doe talking extensively about her relationship with Mr. Kelly and her status as a victim. She is using her status to promote her brand. Watching all of this, it is obvious that she long ago rejected any allegiance to Mr. Kelly and could not be influenced by him or others acting on his behalf, and that any idea of fear of obstructing here is simply a fantasy, right? So, yeah, so it says here long ago, it's obvious that she long ago rejected any allegiance to Mr. Kelly. So my question is, again, I'm kind of stuck on this. When did she reject allegiance to R. Kelly? Was it when she was before the trial even started, and she was basically acting as a not only a witness but as an informant? Was she an informant all this time when she was running back and forth to visit him in prison? Or did this start? When did this start? Did it start when there was some type of fallout over who was going to be the next visitor on the visitations list? So this is the part I'm actually confused about. And like I said, I told you my theories. I really want to know what you guys think. When did she flip? I'm just going to say flip because that's the best way to describe it. When did she flip? To me, it would be ruthless if she played him all this time. Oh man, that would be so ruthless. And I don't know. To me, it just seems like everything is calculated. Everything is basically planned. Every move is strategic to me, right? So if she flipped and still remained on the visitors list and she soaked up all that time when he probably could have been giving that time to Jocelyn, right? Oh, that would just be so cold. And then not only that, what type of information does she hand over to, the feds, if any, right? I'm not saying that she's an informant. She could just possibly be a witness and not necessarily an informant. But at this point, to me, it feels like she's both an informant and a witness. That's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. So now to prove that it was Azriel, you see here that he talks about a Versace coat, right? And you see here that he talks about showing herself in the feather filling, right? So let's have a look at that. So here's a video that basically I believe Greenberg is referring to. I'm not 100% sure. You guys let me know if this is the video and you believe it's Azriel. To me, it's obvious, but this is alleged. It's not 100% sure. You guys let me know what you think. And this is the Versace coat that basically he's referring to in the letter. And let's see if we can find it where she cuts it up. She's cut the coat up, and basically this is her with the feather filling all over herself, right? So there's a better picture of the feather filling. So, that's essentially it for what he was referring to in the video. And I think her mom comes in as well. Let me see if I can find that. You know what? I don't even want to play the video, but because I don't want to get a copyright violation. But this is essentially the video. You can watch it for yourselves if you want to. But again, to me, everything just seems to be calculated. Everything is basically for a purpose. So my thinking on this, I think on one hand, she's basically promoting her brand. So again, everything has a purpose. Everything has basically been designed in this case. At least that's how I feel. To me, it feels like part of this is actually for her to promote her brand, but she's promoting her brand by talking about R. Kelly. And then another part of me feels as if they are going to try to use some of this stuff in the federal case. All right. So you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think the purpose of her videos are. Is she making these videos because she genuinely just wants to come out and let her feelings out? Right. Or do you think she's making all these videos because she basically wants to promote her brand? Or do you think this video, or she's making these videos because they're trying to strategically use it to basically use this stuff in the R. Kelly federal case? Or do you think some of these videos are designed to trap the R. Kelly supporters? If, like I said, if you come to her page and you start bashing her and attacking her, I personally believe, I'm not saying this will happen. I'm not saying it's true. I've already made videos on it. So I don't want to beat up R. Kelly supporters and basically say, don't go to her page, don't bash her, don't exercise your freedom of speech. I believe you have freedom of speech. If a person, basically, the right to privacy is based on the expectation of a reasonable expectation of privacy. And I don't believe that you have a reasonable expectation of privacy when you come out and you start talking about things in public. When you talk about things in public, you give wait a minute, I'm just going to stop talking about this because this is actually another video that I'm actually working on. So let me just say that you have a right to privacy. I'm going to delete all that. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. That's it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.